In Chapter 2, Nietzsche revels and reveals, focuses and extracts the historic, in-the-time and across-time nature of Apollo and Dionysius from the ancient Greeks through to Rome and arguably even to his present day, stringing and weaving together in his poetic fashion the essence of Apollonian as against Dionysian and vice versa music, festival, revelry, participation in these two archetypes, and what it meant for the Greeks. That while the Dorics had held stalwart for a great time against the Dionysian ambition and impulse, where many others had embraced it to varying degrees, in them through to the Romans even. You've called for me, Your Grace. I have. Now, how about spices? I've heard that you have stopped supplying Bronca with some resources. Spices, I believe. I suspect you've been speaking to Eden. He trades my spices with Precis to get fortune dabs. Yo. Eden doing dabs? Alright, let's go. Fortune, no less. That flowing, mellifluous harmony Dionysus in time, as a seed which refuses not to bloom, finds itself in nudity, in cruelty, and yet overcoming them, it sprouts, vines forth, and creeps to the apex of unity, mystic oneness, and yet holds duly in resolution in the Delphic god of duality betwixt the plastic and the unenumerable, the continuous and the segmented, indivisibility from nature, and individuation thereof, a concordance with utmost tension, and yet the spirit of the ancient Greek dream reveler. You heard about Sedani? What happened? I told her she should find a pet that can actually do something besides being disgusting. Damn, Asolia, you brutal! She's just a youngin'! She has been leaving bait in the garden since then. I guess that's one way. Nothing has been showing up, so I took one of the stuffed skunks from the hall and put it behind the bush. In the evening, I told her something took her bait. When she saw a huge skunk, half her size, she panicked. She grabbed my sword. She could barely lift it. It was hilarious. She kept hitting the poor skunk, but it wouldn't budge. Poor Sedani. She wouldn't hurt an animal. Mother heard her scream. She came and ruined everything. My. Sedani actually cried when she found out the thing was stuffed. You cruel, cruel girl. Oh, Celia. Come on, father. You have to admit this is funny. Yeah, it is, actually. I can't believe she would attack a skunk. She thinks she can fight because she keeps seeing you running around with your sword. I know. She keeps pestering me to fight her. Well, you know, I guess that is like a good training at diplomatic sleight of hand. I can understand. I'll let it slide. And Chapter 2's philosophic payload is that of emphasizing the one-sidedness of either, of separation or contiguity, separateness as against oneness, as the veil of Maya, illusion, of metaphysic, artistic, and music perspective, that all is a part or all one, all being or all becoming, that contortion and deformation of what really is, that subjective fault in what is truly there, what is reality, and as consequence, what is to be done about it, with it. And this is something I find very compelling, as one myself who seeks to dissolve the dichotomies, dualities, artificial, arbitrary, constructed, standing separates of being and becoming. There is something profound in these works, even if one doesn't agree with the overall metaphysico-artistic outlook of Nietzsche. Your Grace, may I introduce you to the Stabber? Oh no, the Hedgehog! The Stabber? Why the Stabber? Well, I wanted to name him Hanson, but that name is already taken. What is this? I imagine she's just standing there with this hedgehog and going, "Ah, Hanson!" Above its head it appears the little name box and it just goes, "Sorry, name taken, you're gonna have to change that to like, Happy Spaghetti or something." Flashes red and then she's like, "Okay, I got you. The Stabber. Based." And it is this very piquance of the birth of tragedy, even as he develops on through his time, particularly in its downstream consequences of ontology, an account of existence as such, ethics, what we should do about it as customs, habits, or practices, and economy, what we should do with the ontology and ethics that we have established, how we should transact, what these transactions mean, and of course, politics, where any custom exists, and manner of going about using our ontology materially. What formal structure, function, and reflection should we construct, if we should even stray beyond mere structure? Hansen was a hedgehog who rode on a black rooster, your grace. He was ugly and unwanted, but one day he helped a king find his way home. As a prize, the hedgehog asked the king to promise to give him whatever greets him first upon his return home. It turned out that the king's daughter was the first to greet him. 1 year later, the hedgehog came to claim his reward and married the princess. It was difficult for the princess to love the ugly creature Hansen was, but she learned to accept him, and once she proved her true love for him, Hansen turned into the most handsome prince with the biggest castle made out of diamonds. This story sounds familiar. I bet it does, Eric. I bet it does, my man. I wish life was as simple as a fairy tale. That too. Where we have seen thus far Nietzsche propose an accordance between these archetypes of the arch-dreamer and the arch-dancer as something of a post-nihilism, where each and every perspective ought to be taken as their own, acted upon as their own, in a true recognition of not just the part, but also the whole, as first and foremost an aesthetic endeavor, as constructing and living what compels us, if not beauty itself. I propose something perhaps a little further, as we have naught but our perspectives bequeathed to us by nature as nature. I propose something which accounts for the situated perspectivity of every one and everything, of every one and the many, but going beyond. See, I will turn the stabber into a prince. Prince. Oh, it's not for me, father. Once the stabber is a prince, he can help me get Luli back. I'm sure she will like him more than Evo. And then she and Dusty can come back to the castle. Fine, keep the stabber. I'm all on board. Very well, keep the stabber close to you, but don't lose him, and don't stab yourself. It's not the stabber. It's the stabber! The stabber is on a mission, and he is about to stab someone! At least she will be occupied! That's very true, my man. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, though. Finally, something Eric and I agree on. What I propose, as opposed to aesthetics as first philosophy, would instead be what it all supervenes, stands upon, and reacts to: the ontology. The account of being as being, whether you consider it static, flowing, or something as Spinoza perhaps, a coursing in, a fulfillment of what is universal in what is in particular. That it is all, in and of itself, simply a substrate, a medium. And of that medium, we make accounts of things first and foremost, produce ontologies, and that, in and of itself, places the account about things, about something, front and center, and therefore within this medium, the origins, sources, starting points of those such as Apollo and Dionysos as archetypes, as the forces that compel not just the mundane act, but also the artistic. Evo certainly wants his wife to understand their ways. I'm not sure I like it. We should ask Lursulia about something else. I ain't asking about Dusty. I want to, but I can't. I can ask her about her slippers. Yeah, we'll Amazon Prime that right over to you. Options, but I gotta ask about Evo first. We must go deeper. Deeper into the medium itself, into the dissolution of all dualities, to include the tragic. And then, only then, do we have the heroic. One who stands not as separate or unexcisable, but simply an object among many. Not as subject and object, but as the substrate itself, articulating agency as such. And from this perspective, we are able to see beneath the surfaces, no matter how far they stretch across the territory, as but that. Maps. And in that, as maps of the territory, that there is a key, a legend, a way of the universal territory, the substrate, relating to itself in such a way as to render maps. Pietro, hey, you! You really got overboard this time! I know it was you! Now everything is clear! I stayed in the woods waiting for 3 weeks! But now I know! Whoa, my man, whoa! Calm down! You don't know what you're talking about. Sir, this is all just happening in your head. No one is trying to harm you. You need to calm down. In my head? But my door was open and my cat was gone. She wouldn't have left by herself. She's a cat. Of course she would. No, that's a lie! Wait, why am I here? I better go now. I can leave, right? What do I do? What do I do? That guy needs to go in the dungeon. I ain't giving him a second chance after that outburst. Goodness gravy. Wow. The song. Did you see that guy? Oh. And in that, supervening on it, on ontology, everything from the ethic to the aesthetic, from Apollo and Dionysos to the entire pantheon, and well beyond, to the heart of what I find Nietzsche himself is groping in the dark for, to that creative impulse, that life force, the will itself, not as a mystic artifact, nor even a strictly linear logic causality, not an overfullness of health or depravity, of privation, but cartography, the impulse of the making of a map, as not metaphysic, but strictly in itself, physic act. Something tells me you might be interested in far more delicate merchandise. I have a knack for these things, am I right? Tell me more. Oh, how fantastic. I can see what's on your mind, my guy. You see, I have something very precious here. Satisfaction for the most disillusioned pleasure seekers. Some say it's a perfect cure for when you don't feel particularly inspired. Others may use it purely for recreation. It's very good generally if you're going through a bad spell, your grace. I have 1 pack of dust for just 7 pieces of gold. If you're tempted to grab another sack, I might throw it in for only 5 gold. That would only be 12 gold for 2 whole packs. Now, if that's not a deal worthy of your royal bottom, then I don't know what is. How about the dungeon? I won't allow Oracle dust in Davern. My guards will take care of you at the exit. Damn right. I hate having a war on drugs, but oh man, I can't deal with that right now. By way of the monism oneness, of medium, substrate, existence as such, we may draw out both particular and universal, that which may be defined by simple association, the extent of that association, and the intent of that association. The entirety of all of these impulses, drives, wills, and beyond, not just the impulses themselves, but beyond, as he may put it, the veil of Maya. Not simply being or becoming, but begetting. Not immanence of the flowing in of universals to particulars, nor from particulars to universals, or even the denial of both, but transmanence, a flowing across, of the existential itself. What did Asalia do? You made her sweep all the corridors in the castle? This must have been serious. Oh, Eric, she's behaving worse and worse as she grows up. She convinced one of our servants to practice sword fighting with her. Oh gods, it didn't end well. The servant ended up with a huge cut on his cheek. Hey, some cultures are fond of that. You shouldn't let her play with swords, Eric. I know I shouldn't have, but I still feel that if I said no, she'd still do it in secret. I know, Eric. We need to pay more attention to her, especially now Luli is not here. Actually, I'm on the other side. You should be playing with blunts. Absolutely no sharp swords for practice. What the fuck? But she needs to know. She must know. It's important. We need an heir, a daughter of Davern, to know her way around swords. We should just hire a tutor if it's really that big of a deal. Come now. From the smallest of self-driving agent and the simplest, be it microchip or microorganism, to the greatest and most complex. From AI to humanity, from the tilling of the soil to the construction of worldwide networks, something adequately, truly, and earnestly not smuggling in this prioritization of the human perspective, but a perspective itself as emergent from the medium of existence, the substrate in being, as it flows into its becoming, and finally into its self-beginning. Sedani? Pet stabber. Do you mind if I pet him? Not at all, Your Grace. Just don't Ouch. Stab yourself. Can I pet him again? -1 HP. And again, Your Grace. I'm gonna pet Stabber. Do you mind if I pet him? Not at all, Grace. -1 HP. In Chapter 3, we, as it exposits, unravel, deconstruct, and tear apart the very foundations of the Apollonian worldview, of the Apollonian archetype, and reveal him as the All-Father most true of the Greek Olympians, as the triumph over the titans of the suffering world, of the unapprehendable world, the susception, proneness, misery, malcontents of the ancient Greek before its arise, and see in them the will to illusion, to reason as ultimate, of logos, in the plastic, phenomenal sense, as all there is, as the triumph of the dream over the melody, of the rationalism above all. Soldier? What's happening? Your Grace, one of the nearby lords has committed suicide? I believe it was Pietro. Pietro was a lord? Okay. That's unfortunate. Can we invade? And there, as its epitome, naive art, naive Homer, as the man in a bark, upon cresting seas, content and entrust that his constructions, his creations, will see him through to the end, preserve and transport across the great breadths of life's oceans, not as one who is lost, but one who achieves his grace, his cheerfulness, in the dream. Your Grace, I come to you with a special request, to turn Stabber into a prince. I need to lift his curse. I've researched more into it. I bet you have, you darling little child. I already love him as hard as I can. I squish and tickle his tummy all the time, but now I need to make him rich. Your Grace, may I please request 1 piece of gold? I'll pay it back, I promise. A piece of gold to make the hedgehog rich. Absolutely! Here you go! It's but 1 gold. Thank you, Father. Your efforts will not be forgotten. In Chapter 4, we come head to head with the contradiction and the foundation itself of the Apollonian worldview, having stripped away the stones from its foundations, and tracing back its origins, we now critique that very foundation is built upon the Dionysian, of the Titanic, of the world suffering rather than the world beauty, of not the dream, nor the dreamer, but of misery, pain, agony, and the consequences thereof. That Apollo is not merely an immanence in himself, no, rather an upwelling of desire for appearance above all, a phenomenon of the ideal, of the wishing to be as being, of logos as purpose, of beauty in that supine rest of Apollo, that our eyes may peer across the plains of being and know it truly without being of it, in it, about it, of theory as the apex. Is our army ready? We're in a difficult situation. We cannot be sure if Ivo will support us with his army. We need to focus on making as many lords our allies as possible. Our scouts reported that we would need a battalion of at least 1,000 soldiers. 1,000, fair enough. We can do that. Probably. Hopefully. With any luck. When you make an alliance, an ally's name will turn green, but when you upset some lords, their name will appear in red. This usually means you can't ally with them anymore. Fine. Get bent, Eaton. It's a trade worth taking. And despite that, the impulse, the drive, the will to unite, the will to be not individual but a member of the whole, to sway, venture, and integrate into becoming. Nonetheless, in all but the Doric state, in all but the Doric art, that does not uproot, but enjoins and intermingles with the Apollonian, that the elite prestige of the Apollonian be not immune to the so-called barbarous and folk melodic influence of the process upon which it stands, that despite the falling of Oedipus, of Prometheus, the cruelty of the Delphic reconciliation and consonance is not enough, and that even the most resilient is still, in some small way at least, the votary of Dionysos as well, for they too become. Nothing in the gardens? A song is back here. Yes, father? Stay safe, of course. Wait, hang on. Yes, father? Stay safe. Do I ever? I know that it flows with the narrative, but between stay safe and do I ever, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'll keep that in mind. And here's where my discretion comes to the fore. I think that he's right. Demand and supply, they have a very close relationship, and the more people get supplied something, and that spawns demand, the demand continues to increase. The question here is Oracle Dust actually harmful? Is the other guy telling the truth, or is he simply being too, cautious, we'll say? Or is it really worth the golden men and hounds? I don't know. He does make a point that if we're not the ones selling it, then someone else will be. You see how that goes in real life, too. But what's the morality of the game? That will be the determining factor, because if the game takes the position that, well, distributing things that harm people, that could prove to be rather disastrous. But I do have a lot of goodwill among people, and I continue to keep that up, so maybe it's worth the balance. See, his opportunism, that is what makes me suspect of him. I heard you were selling some paintings to Lord Vesemary. Glad that I held on to that. He was bragging about doing some deal with you. Yes, he visited me. I'm not sure what your stance on this is, but I just wanted to let you know, Lord Vesemary is no art collector. He's an artist and an egomaniac. He buys these beautiful artworks and burns them. Nietzsche's rolling in his grave. I've stopped the growth of Eaton's business. Oracle Dust will still be about, but we definitely helped reduce its spread. Unfortunately, there's a small problem in the way. With Eaton not buying my spices, others have turned their backs on me as well. I can hardly make a coin now. That's why I had to start trading with Redovians. Lures, my man? That is treason! You are directly helping your enemy! By making their soup spicier? Your Grace, let's not worry so much. If anything, I'm stealing their gold. Yeah, but you have a business relationship now. That's conflict of interest. Come on now. I imagine they're not exactly aware I'm their enemy. Your Grace, the bottom line is, I need gold. Otherwise, I won't be able to sustain my armies. 3 gold a week. Spices are a commodity. Commodities can sell. It might increase the happiness of our population by making their soup spicier, as Lewis says. And we gain, perhaps a potent ally who is pragmatic and will give us the army he's demanded. Fine. Your Grace, our village was on fire last week, and you helped us. We have found assistance just in time. The chapel started to catch fire, but we managed to save it. I just wanted to bring you the greatest of blessings, Your Grace. We are forever in your debt. Coca! Oh. You lie. I'm happy to hear this. I hope the rest of the village is restored soon. We're working on it, Your Grace. Thank you again. I'm watching you. I'm watching. Don't lie to me. Your Grace, I come from the tavern. The tavern became a great place for everyone to gather and have a good time, but some local panders saw an opportunity to use this place to find customers. At first it was fine. Now the tavern has turned into a brothel. It attracts customers, but the panders essentially took over my tavern, and they cause all sorts of trouble, as you can imagine, Your Grace. Almost every week I have to deal with these disrespectful, violent men. I'm scared they will soon take over the tavern completely. On the other hand, if I kick them out, they will just relocate to another pub. We could kick them out and they would go elsewhere. We could keep getting extra money. I could just refuse help. I have no issue with the brothelhood. It is what it is. Though they could do with some regulation. Not that that's per se an option. And we do need the money. But if we lose the tavern altogether, then no money comes out of it at all. Investment is a waste. I guess we have to get rid of the panders. You should protect your tavern before they take it over. Good call, Your Grace. Perhaps if you could send a general for a few weeks to help out. Now I can do that. Our exclusive package offers 50 gold or supplies instantly available for your use. The bank only adds a small fee of 10 gold or supplies depending on the type of loan. It's paid off in weekly amounts of 10 until you pay off your debt. Your Grace, we won't charge you any additional cost. And remember, the first loan is free of charge. Just pay back what you take. I'll do that. I think I will. Let's get some leverage up in here. Why not? A rooster? Coca! He's black? Oh gosh! You are the bestest father in the world! Coca! Oh boy, you are so beautiful. Hey, don't shit on me, rooster. I'm trying my best here, my guy. I'm trying my best. Oh boy, you are so beautiful. The stabber is going to adore you. Thank you, Your Grace. Take good care of him, silly pickle. I love you, father. Well, there goes my lying detector, but she'll be happy at least. And that's worth 1,000,000 gold. Another one joins us. I see you already found someone to practice with. Well, I'm not going to wait for you all day, am I? I haven't seen you before. Who are you? This is Maya. Remember when I sneaked out to the wedding party? The one you were not supposed to go to? Well, yes. Anyway, that's when I met Maya. We had fun at the wedding. I thought it would be nice if she came to visit. Your Grace? See? I can never get her. You're good with the sword. Who taught you to fight like this, Maya? My father is a swordsman. He showed me a few tricks, and he lets you play with swords. Maya says you need to be ready when the enemy strikes. Damn right! Speak the word. A set of cards! But before you send me away, let me show you. You see, every card is depicted with an illustration of beautiful, exotic women. I understand that the queen may not approve of them, but she doesn't have to know. You are proposing something not appreciable, my friend. Jonas, is it? I recognize your name. Jonas? Yes, at your service. Why do you ask? You're going to the slammer, buddy-o, and I am trading you in for an army. Into the prison with you. I thought I recognized those gloves. You're going to my dungeons. I think I know someone who wants to talk to you. This is a misunderstanding. My name is Jotun. Yes, Jotun, not Jonas. We should probably invite Lady Masha to tell her we found her lost friend. Yeah. Yeah, Audrey. Cashing in. Sidani, your hedgehog passed away. The stabber? Oh no! This is all my fault! I shouldn't have sent him on the mission! I knew he wasn't ready! Tell me, did he complete his mission at least? His final quest? What mission? Sidani, did you send a hedgehog on a mission? Yes, an undercover mission! He was meant to scout the area, retrieve information, and return to me! You can't send hedgehogs on missions. They can hardly follow any instructions! That's why they're good! No one suspects a hedgehog! Especially if they're named the Stabber. Well, I suppose you're right. Forgive me, Your Grace. Nothing is as elegant, as fearless as a cat, as dusty. Truer words never spoken from youth. Next time I will find a fiercer agent. I will train him, and he will be at my command! The Stabber's efforts were not in vain! She is a villain in the making, and I love it. I cannot applaud more. And in the dungeon, you merchant, you've made a mistake. I have done nothing wrong. You've stolen gold from Lady Masha. This is unacceptable. She will decide what to do with you. I'd better not see you selling in Davern again. But, Your Grace, I really didn't mean anything bad. Please forgive me. Yeah, tell that to your jail cell as you were in debtor's prison. Sorry, bub. I didn't mean anything by it. I just stole a massive fistful of gold. Ain't no thing but a chicken wang. Yeah, right. To you I come, a truly humble kind. I hope I find you well, in good shape in mind. Your Grace, this is Torlando, a rider known across many halls and taverns. Excuse me, not just Torlando. I am him. Torlando, the wonderful, writer and poet recognized in all kingdoms, experiencing the artistic renaissance. Very well, what can I do for you? Your Grace, if I may, I'm working on my latest release on SoundCloud, but I have no clue how to finish this piece. May I honor you with my latest work? Yeah! Hit me! I'm open to art of all kinds. The poem is for now entitled Kupalnoka. The moon shines so bright, high up in the sky. Kupala night is upon us. Laughter and music can be heard outside. But the weary knight may not rest. Inside the castle, there's no frivolous joy. The fatal matter must be solved. The night is short this time of year, so let's make the best of it while we can. Fire, pleasure, and delight will rule this night. Wonderful. Fantastic. Bravo. Thank you, Your Grace. Sorry. Thank you, Your Grace. Although I am not surprised that you find this so delightful, the problem is I cannot continue. I have hit a wall, and I cannot write at all. I am desperate for some true inspiration. I strongly believe that seeing your general patrolling would get my creative juices rolling. I see what you're about. Understandable. Therefore, I beg of you, please, allow your general to join me to get out of this squeeze. Someone's out for a squeeze. Why not? You know, I'm sure Stin would appreciate some flamboyant company. Let's give the man some leisure. I thank you all for joining us today. If you found it worthwhile, I hope that you consider giving it a like, share, subscribe, making your comments, contributing to the community here on the videos, wherever it may be, or on Discord in our attempt at founding something that cares for these kinds of things, that really strives to embrace the literature, the art, the media as something greater than a simple pastime. If you perhaps found it worthy, you can seek us out on X, Instagram, BitChute, Spotify, or the aforesaid Threefold Edifactory linked on the video on Discord. If you thought it might be worth a little bit more support, something worth pitching a little bit of monies to, we have our one-time donation that you can set up through the link provided to Stream Elements, or if you want something in return for a slightly more recurring venture, and importantly, access to the workshop files and items such as the up-and-coming game document that we will be reviewing in one of the following streams. Then we have patreon.com starting at $5 a month. Starting at the proponent tier, you can get your name listed at the end of every long-form piece of content like this one, rolling as we close out, or perhaps even in the introduction, depending on what you like. And importantly, you can participate in polls for the channel direction. Maybe you want to see something changed. Maybe you want to see a game or a piece of literature engaged in, reviewed, spoken about. Questions you might want to ask more directly. All available to you at the price of a mere $5, and you can leave at any time. But without further ado, I hope that you all never miss your opportunities.